And welcome to the Full Advisor Coaching Podcast with your host, Kristin Harrod. Kristin, this is a really good topic today, and I'll get into why I like it so much as you explain more about what it is. But it's good to be with you, and it's good to be talking about this specific thing.
I am so excited. I've been so energized by this, which is kind of one of the things that happens when we talk about this subject. But, you know, one of the things people go like, they get into a lot of inertia around business development, right? Because they're like, I've been reaching out, I'm having lunches, I'm playing golf, I'm talking to people, I'm, having phone calls and nothing's going anywhere. Yeah. And it's like, it can really kind of, wear you down. And the question may come up, hey, I wonder if we should do an event for all the prospects who we're talking to. Yeah. Is that something that makes sense? And quickly your mind goes, well, we could, but then what if no one shows up? Okay. And then they defeat it and it doesn't happen. So today we're going to talk about holding a prospect event. And when I mean that, I don't mean one of those free chicken dinner seminars or like that Medicare canned presentation or the one where they send all the mailings out and people show up to learn about retirement. I'm talking about a specific curated educational event for people you've been having conversations with or that you would like to meet who you believe are in your target audience, that we can put together and host in a way that shows the value of what you have to offer without being a sales pitch, but it's really about a hands-on learning, and you're providing an experience from which then people can make a decision on what they want to do moving forward. So this is an exciting, oh my goodness, I just love the multiple benefits of what it takes to put an event together and host an event. And even if, God forbid, not a soul replied, yes, I can make it, you still get benefits. So,
yeah. And I want to talk about that for 1 second and why I like this topic so much, because you use the word inertia. Overcoming inertia is really hard. It's a difficult thing because by definition, it's a state where you're going nowhere. So
right, exactly.
Exactly. And I come from a background where I learned early on, because I worked in live television, there's a phrase, there's nothing that focuses the mind like a deadline. Because that's the truth. Because see, at the end of my day, something was going to happen, and I was going to be responsible for being there. And whether I had anything or not, I had to be there, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you're like, I will find something by the end.
So I will find something.
That is a tighter timeline than I think I want to handle. But
it creates an energy, and that's my point. Because now, out of nothing, out of a state of inertia, you have now energized, if no one else for the moment, your own self.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's key, because when you say I'm putting a date on the calendar, even if I know no details or have no idea what the concept is yet, I just know we're doing something, and you put it on the calendar, it makes a huge difference, because then, to your point, your mind starts to go, oh, again, it could be some of that fear factor of like, what am I going to do? But you start thinking about the ideas around it, and then it starts to create energy, and then you start to get excited about it, and then you start to get creative about it, and then you bring other people in and they get creative about it. And so I just went through this experience with one of my fractional CMO clients. So I'm a fractional CMO for an RIA in the Midwest, and they are outstanding at meeting people, having, golf outings, interacting, connecting, having conversations with prospective clients, even having a meeting, like an initial meeting. And one of the problems we wanted to address or solve, or opportunities to accelerate, is that, we have a bunch of these relationships kind of more top of the funnel type of things, early business development. How can we solidify our value with for these potential clients and get them to move through to become clients, right? To have a relationship with us. And we were talking about ultra high net worth individuals. So business owners, people looking to exit their business and have significant financial events, right? So they're not people who move quickly. It's not like they wake up and go, oh, now I got to go. But they could be in a position where they got an offer for their business that they want to, and they're evaluating it. Do they want to sell? Or they've sold a business and they're looking at, what do I now do with the money? They could be in a little more of an urgency stream, but ultimately it can be difficult to convey your value in a 45-minute get to know you meeting, right? So it's like, what can we do? So we put together a half-day educational event, very small. There was about a dozen people. We had one client who just happened to want to come. When she heard about the event, it wasn't really geared to clients, but she wanted to come learn. And then they invited a few prospects and a couple COIs. So we had a business, I want to say a business consultant, someone in the tax space, and another consultant who I don't recall exactly what he did, but also influencers to the same audience. We all came into the room, and it was a multi-advisor team, and we had a framework for the learning that was actually, this gets into our episode around repurposing content, which was that we had a lead magnet that we developed, a free guide that we had developed, and we took that as a baseline framework of our workshop and expanded it to this half day and very tailored message to the specific people who were going to be in the room, and developed a true just conversational educational workshop where they were writing down, doing exercises and engaging so they could step away with something really valuable and make the decision. Do they want to continue the conversation with this firm, or do they just, want to take, and we even said, take this workbook, literally take it to your team if you have someone you are working with, or this is something we do. If you want our help, we'll help you. Honestly, I have to say one of my favorite things I've done in my career is to watch how this came together and the energy for the team at the firm. I just loved seeing what hosting, even just making the decision to host this event, what it did for the team. So that's what I want to get into today is like, how does this become a growth catalyst? How does it become a confidence builder for the whole team? Why should you host your own educational event for prospects? Hey there, it's Kristin. Quick break. If you're enjoying the show and you want more, head on over to fulladvisorcoaching.com/resources. You can download the toolkits that I have there and join the free insider community. You'll be the first to hear about new trainings, fresh podcast episodes, and I share with you real-world strategies that I see working for advisors right now. That's fulladvisorcoaching.com/resources. Go sign up. It's completely free. And now, back to the show. The first thing that I want to talk about, you've already covered, right? Which is deadlines drive action.
Yes.
Right? You put something, it's like you put something on the calendar and the countdown begins. It's like, uh-oh. I mean, we sent out an invitation to see if there was any interest, and we got an immediate RSVP, and I was like, yes. I mean, that's rare, I will say. But I was like, this thing's a go, So it's like, Wow. Any ideas you had lingering around there? Like, oh, there's a prospect I haven't called or a marketing piece I needed to put together. Boom. Immediately you can start getting those things done because you're like, I need to have this for the event. I need my business card reprinted. I need whatever it is. You need something there. So to your point, get a deadline and you're in action right away.
It focuses you and it forces you, I think, because it's implied in a lot of what you're saying, it forces you to get your message.
100%. You have
straight.
Yeah. It's like you immediately, especially when you're sending out an invitation to a group of people to say, hey, would you find value in this event? And you you don't have a lot of room for attention. You don't have a lot of room to explain. And so you very quickly will need to get to a very clear-cut message that's benefit-oriented. What is the promise of value that you're bringing? And everyone has to get on that page right away. And so that can really bring clarity then to the conversations as you're reaching out to talk to people. And I love that about setting an event because immediately you're like, I have to explain this to someone and I only have a few seconds to do it in an email or a quick phone call to catch their attention.
I mean, it's what I've always loved about the idea. And I don't love elevator pitches. Right. But I love the idea of the elevator pitch because what it does do is it focuses your mind and it's like, come on, get focused. What is the point? What are you selling? What is it that you really want to talk about? Because it forces you to go from this big, long-winded, too many word kind of thing into a much more focused, this is what it's about.
Yes. And if I could have more clients, I'm going to tell them they have to do events just to get them to be focused on message. I think it would change their business, but it's hard to go in with that without, you need the actual event to have the fear, frankly, the expectation, and the excitement there. And I think one of the biggest things around what I love about an event, even if it's a webinar, right? It doesn't even have to be a big in-person thing that's catered with all the, whatever's happening, all those different details. But even a webinar, the thing I love about that, even if, and when I work with advisors, say, hey, even if no one shows up for your webinar, you can record it, right? I think we talked about that in the content episode. But when you hold an event, you get to reach out to prospects multiple times without having to come up with, now what am I going to say in this communication, right? Yeah. You have the invitation, you have reminders, you have thank you for when they come, you have a follow-up email, you have multiple outreaches if they haven't yet RSVP'd. There are many things you can do on that. And then what's really important is, even if they can't make the event, right? That date does not work for them on their calendar. The invitation alone has value. It says, we thought of you. This is an exclusive event. This is an intimate group. You would fit well in this. This is something we want to invite you, Bill, to. Yeah. And you can say no, but you still get the value of being considered and invited. And they understand, hey, I belong here. I belong in this conversation. Yeah. And it can spark a dialogue where it's, ultimately they're like, wow, I really want to do that. In fact, this group that we just held this event, the CEO was at his gym and after the event, and he ran into, someone came up to him and was chatting with him. He's like, hey, I saw that invitation about the event and I really wanted to come and I couldn't. Can you please let me know when the next one is? So you're like, wow, immediately, people notice, right? And if, depending on how you position it, you can make it very exclusive and interesting. And even if you hear from no one, if you don't hear from people, they're still seeing it and understanding it. So there is an ancillary effect there. Yeah.
No, I can see that because now I feel like, well, Kristin really clearly thought I would be interested and I belong with this group of people. I can't make it this time, but it leaves me with this, I hate the word aura, but it leaves me with this feeling of like, oh, look, that's this. I know where she values me. I know where she thinks about me in the context of this business. So this is good. It leaves me with a good feeling, as it were.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, another benefit just coming out of holding an event is that you can make it a whole lot easier for a client who maybe would not have done a direct referral or introduction because they're like, that's weird, that's awkward.
Yeah.
But if you open it up and say, and if you have, if you know anyone like you who would benefit from this that you want to bring along, a friend, a colleague, a family member, that would be fantastic. They're welcome to just reach out. We welcome them in this context. So it's a really low pressure way for them to be able to connect someone that they want to your firm without making it be
weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those guys who would find it very hard to say, you might like so-and-so.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier when I say, oh, you know what? Kristin Herod, who I've been working with, is doing this seminar, and I know you and I've talked about this in the past, and so it's exciting. Maybe you want to join me. That's so much easier. That's just a natural synergy. It's like, yeah, sure. I think maybe I'll join.
Yeah, and there was actually, for this event, was interesting was one of the people was able to bring his spouse, which we invited the spouse, but the spouse had not met the team members. It had only been the business owner, and he brought his spouse, who was then able to be introduced and integrated into the conversation, and her point of view considered, and she was able to experience it in a different way as well. And one of the other members brought a family member with, so. It was really interesting to see this come alive and just how well it worked. They reached out and said, hey, do you mind, if I bring this up, my family member, I'm not going to get into details just because, it was someone else in the business with them. And we were like, of course not, so that was fantastic. And then the dialogue that came out of that on intra-family conversation was really fascinating. So, love that. Which, when you think about introductions and, client introductions, it also comes up with centers of influence, right? Your attorneys, your business consultants, valuation experts, tax people. When you have an event, it gives you a reason to reach out to the centers of influence. Like I said, at this event, we had a few in the room, but you can also ask them to ask their clients, and it's a way for them to make an introduction on your behalf with something of value versus go hire my friend who runs an investment firm. It's like, oh, this firm is hosting an event. I think you'd be a really good fit if you want to attend. And then you can offer for them, if they're the right kind of person, to have them attend, and they can see how you work and what you do. And I think that can make a really big difference. In fact, in this event that we held, one of the centers of influence who was in the room, actively engaged in the whole workshop, and then at the end asked my client if they would come host the same workshop for his group of clients.
Nice.
I mean, you can't ask for more than that, really, right?
No, that's fantastic.
I know. I just, I love this stuff. This incredible, absolutely incredible. You can get a level of this. It doesn't have to be an in-person event with all these different things, but man, when it is, the electricity, it's amazing. I know a lot of firms work with people across the country, and they're like, it's hard to do that. You can do things online, and that's great. And I don't, it's not black or white, right? There's lots of obviously going online, there's fewer logistics, things can happen and you can get things done faster. You lose some of the personal touch, but I've been to plenty of online workshops that have been very powerful. So I think having an open mind about what you can do and what's available in your budget and what's available with the types of clients you work with, all of these things come out. Because as you start to, again, getting back to the deadline and like really putting all of your resources behind this, you're going to be promoting, right? You're going to be promoting the event. And whether it's a small event or a big event, you're going to raise visibility of your firm, whether it's locally or online or, with your centers of influence. You're positioning yourself as a leader, as a resource in your community. And these prospects don't just see you as, they have their financial advisor, or, oh, they do investment management or wealth management. They see you as someone who is an educator, who cares about contributing. And it makes a big difference, I think, in that way. And
well, yeah, it would seem to me that it creates a really positive brand awareness.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And if you partner with like holding an event in your community somewhere and you're supporting a local independent business and getting out there and creating awareness there, that's exciting too. It's like you're really contributing to the community around you. So that's just, again, an extra step there it has the halo effect that we always look for with branding and that naturally happens. You just want it to be positive, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And the other thing that a moment like this does is once you've set that date, once you've set that calendar and you say, okay, this is going to happen on this day, and you create an energy because there's an anticipation of this moment arriving. And anticipation is fantastic. I mean, honestly, whether it's waiting for the ketchup to come out of the bottle or for this moment of this meeting to happen, there is an energy that is created by it. And it unites a team with that energy.
Oh, 100%. That's my favorite thing. I think I said it earlier, and so I might be repeating myself, but, as those RSVPs come in, as we get some positive feedback on it, people start to get really creative. So I know when I was working with this group to get the event started, there was a little resistance and kind of a, should we postpone? Should we change it? What should we do? Maybe another time, maybe next year. I'm like, let's just do it. And so they were good. They said, yes, let's do it. And then as we got people responding, it was all of a sudden, who else can we invite? What else can we do to get people in the room? What makes sense? And we started getting creative and have new ideas on how to reach out or who to reach out to, or what about this person, or who has a connection here. And so all of a sudden, this like burst of energy and creativity came out, which I think is really, really important. And that was really super fun to be a part of, because you're just like constantly thinking, oh, now what could we do? And do we want something on the table? And what will it look like? And how does this piece look? And what can we, put together for this event? And so I thought that was, and I've seen that time and time again. And I see it for myself too. Whenever I am like in that inertia spot, it's like, as soon as if I'm speaking at a conference and I have the date coming up, okay, I got to get clear. I have a topic, but then what am I going to do? And then you start to get excited about how can I bring it to life? What do I want to have there to support it? What's available? How can I let people know about it? And so you do really focus your mind on that. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm curious when you've done this with groups, do you notice that it also inspires their creativity?
Oh, yes. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, as soon as you say, okay, we're doing this, there's the initial like, uh-oh. But then as soon as you get a few positive steps forward or just start getting things going, I'm like, just send the email, make the phone call, just get post on LinkedIn, and then they start to get positive feedback, which you will. It can be a little bit. Then it's like, oh, this is exciting. And then you see the best of them come out, which I like, because, a lot of times we're hiding a little bit behind our imposter mask of like, we good? Are we not good? And then it's like, oh, wait, we do know. This is exciting, and I just think it was magical to witness with this client. And I saw all of their very best. I'm like, no wonder people come and work with you. Like, this is an amazing powerhouse group of people, So, and that was great. And I think that, kind of leads well into the next benefit that I wanted to cover, which is people can, when you hold an event like this, prospects get to experience the firm, get to experience your style and your culture and see what it's like. And if you have an interactive program that's, not a canned presentation, they're going to learn something. You're going to engage firsthand. We had a lot of back and forth dialogue. We had open-ended questions. If anyone needs open-ended questions, they can go to our episode on the 27 questions that we just had. This was something where we let people talk and engage and listen. So, far more powerful than trying to convince someone to sign up through an email sequence or your website or a PowerPoint presentation. Very different
kind of experience. Yeah, very different kind of experience.
It's amazing. And when you get people talking and you're simply facilitating the conversation and adding value as their natural questions arrives, wow. I mean, everyone just has fun too. I mean, that's what I saw. I saw this team having fun. That was really fulfilling for me to see.
Well, yeah. I mean, now you're talking about a whole different kind of benefit as well.
That's just like a elevated, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, that is fantastic. Yeah. And I would imagine that once you created these I don't imagine that, I know this for a fact. Once you create this conversation, once you create this energy, once you've got this vibe, if you will, going, it's really easy to call Kristin back up and go, hey, it was great you came to this event. I mean, following up is like the most natural, easy thing at that point to do.
Exactly. I know. It's also extremely important to do, right? People, again, they're probably not signing up at the event.
Right.
But if you have full permission now to easily pick up the phone and say, hey, thank you so much, Mary, for coming last week. Wow, we really appreciated your conversation. And likely, as we saw in this event, at the end, the advisors were chatting with the people and people were openly saying, I want to set up a meeting with you, to the advisor. They didn't even have, and so then it's really just do your follow-up. Right. Even sending I think they did handwritten thank you cards to everyone and just the natural outreach, at the end, we regrouped as a team, once everyone left and said, okay, what's the follow up for this person? What's the follow up for this person? What are we doing here? And it's like it just depended on the relationship, right? Even with the COIs, it was, that person mentioned that we could do the event for his group. Who's going to call him and when is that going to happen? So we were very clear on ownership and next step and follow up. It's like, okay, we're going to take, this person said they wanted a meeting next week. Okay. So, and we mapped it out. And so that's another great thing. And then even, I think kind of an ancillary or additional benefit there is, while you're there, you now have content that you've developed and put together because the team probably got together and created content that they haven't created before. And you can fuel your content calendar with ideas that came out of there, insights from what you learned from the people in the room. You see what resonates. And you're like, okay, that topic, while we thought maybe wasn't going to be that big of a deal, we ended up spending 45 minutes on because there was so much energy around it. Okay, good to know, So there's some sort of primary or firsthand research that happens while you're there to be like, wow, these are the hot button topics. Let's shift our content counter a little more over here, and then you can show pictures or highlights from the event. We did that. We didn't show any client or prospect pictures. We just showed team pictures because we wanted to protect privacy of everyone. But same thing, got one of the highest post interactions of all the content I've done for this firm. Wow. I'm like, oh, it was a snapshot from the event talking about the event. Great. Oh, you're like, again, another benefit coming out of it. So, I mean, I can't say enough about it. It's not easy, and it's stressful, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, but I feel like it's a high effort, high return event for the myriad reasons we've just talked about.
Oh,
today.
Yeah, no. And I'm curious, when you're looking at the event after the event has happened, and you've assessed what went on, and you're looking at your follow-ups and your opportunities for follow-ups and further contact and stuff, is that how you judge your return on investment? Is that what you do in terms of your ROI, or what are the things that go into that? Because it seems to me that there's a broad range of things that you could look at.
Yeah, I think that's important. There's the obvious, how many people showed up / you can look at it that way, but then you're going to miss out on kind of a bigger view, right? There's the direct conversion off of people in the room sign up and bring X amount of money. So, that's the most literal.
That's the most literal and the easiest one.
Yeah. And as we know, lifetime value of a client in our business is very high. It doesn't take much to move the needle. Yeah. You don't need large numbers for an event to be a win. Even I remember setting up this event. They're like, we have to make sure we have this number of people. I was like, do we? We really only need a few, because if they show up and if they invest half a day with us and we know they're in the market, they're in our ideal client range, the likelihood that one of them will work with you over the next 6 months is probably quite high.
Yeah.
And if it's not that quick, the other benefits, the real return on investment is, I think, the urgency and the coming together of the team and the combined energy and creativity, and frankly, getting the message sharpened and really crystal clear, multiplying your outreach, getting this like infusion of marketing behind your brand, really important. You let prospects know what it's like for you. Maybe they aren't quite ready to make the move. Maybe their trigger event isn't going to happen for another year or two, but you've given them that chance. So I think that the combined power of this kind of marketing activity can have a huge impact. And when you run one and then run a second and you see, okay, is this worth it? You'll get a good feel. Like from this one, I can tell you, we're already scheduling the next one. We have one coming up beginning of the year, because we want to, repeat it, see what happens again. The energy and messaging and brand impact alone was worth it. Now, you do have to see over time, does it convert people? Is it something that continues to work for you? Maybe not this exact one, but an evolution of it could be. So, that's what I look at. I think, the cost of doing something like this is not very much money in the grand scheme of things, a couple $1,000s, depending on how you do it. And if it's online, that's not even that. I think you can't afford to overlook this option.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you said something that really piqued my interest, is in the follow-up with the team after the event. It must be interesting to learn, well, we thought topics A and B would be a really big hit, and people were really interested in topics A and B, but who knew D was going to be such a big deal?
That's exactly right. That kind of, I think, shifts the trajectory of future conversations. Then the trickle down effect of that to getting people who convert, who sign up faster, or who go, wow, they really understand me. Like maybe you were talking tax and you needed to talk multi-generational life planning, family planning. It could be lots of different things. It just, you may have always thought it was, to your point, A or B, and it's C or D, and you're like, well, how about that?
Who knew?
Huh. Yeah. So I love some good primary research, right? Talking to people in the audience. Again, it's not about just how many people can be in the room. It's, do we have the right people in the room? And a conversation with 3 or 4 people who are the exact right fit versus 50 who don't fit at all. It's gold.
It is. Yeah, so, it can be actual, real, live, honest to goodness business gold, as it were. Yes. Well, this seems like a really good point to ask a question about if people are listening to this podcast and are thinking this really sounds interesting. This is kind of exciting, and they might want to have a conversation with you about this kind of stuff and maybe doing it themselves. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, the easiest way is to go to fulladvisorcoaching.com, click that button in the upper right corner that says request a call, and schedule time with me. You can also reach out on LinkedIn, just message me out there. And I'm out there almost every day. Take a look. Or you can email me at Kristin@fulladvisorcoaching.com. I'd love to hear from you. I think that taking a look at a marketing plan and seeing where or if this fits for you or your team, and especially if you're getting stuck on business development and your advisor team is feeling a little stagnant, it's a great way to, like we said, rally the troops, get everyone on the same page, and have a shared objective. And I think that does wonders for a business.
The other thing you should do if you're listening to this podcast, by the way, and you're not a subscriber, is become one, and that's easy. Just hit the follow button. Because every time Kristin drops a new episode, you don't have to wonder about when, where, or whatever. You're notified, and you can give it a listen. And the other thing I would encourage you to do is, if you like the podcast, tell people about it. Word of mouth promotion from actual real life people that know one another goes a long way. It's really great
and
stuff.
I think to that point, Bill, if you, again, I know I've said this before, but if you're an advisor at a firm and you're thinking, yes, we should be doing events like this, and you're getting pushback, or you're whoever's making the call on whether you can spend the money or not is like, I don't know if it's worth it, send them this episode. I think that will help them understand, wow, there are multiple benefits or reasons why we'd want to do something like this.
Absolutely. So with that, we come to the end of this episode of Full Advisor Coaching. So on behalf of Kristin, I'm Bill Tucker. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. And remember this, you can go out today and make today a great day or not. The choice is yours. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Full Advisor Coaching, the podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit the follow button so you'll never miss an episode. To learn more about how you can become a part of the Full Advisor community, visit fulladvisorcoaching.com. Remember, stay connected and get notified as soon as brand new episodes release. Click the follow button now. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Kristin Harrod or Full Advisor Coaching.